Hey everyone, welcome to Rapid Fire Q&A where I answer your questions. And I'll start off with looking at some YouTube comments and answer the questions up in there. And as you hop on, you're welcome to ask me absolutely anything, whether it's nootropics, health, weight loss, building muscle, supplements, anything, anti-aging, whatever comes to mind. And hopefully this can be of good contribution for all of you. What's new with me as far as my supplement stack? I'm taking a little bit of time away from the stronger stimulants, caffeine included, modafinil, phenylpiracetam. One thing with the stimulants is you'll notice that they do kind of reduce the occurrences of insights to some extent. And it's nice to be able to reflect versus always being in a state of execution. So is a SAMe a nootropic? Yeah, you could say so. It kind of depends who you ask, but mostly used for mood. For people with some sort of psychiatric disorder, then they want to be mindful of taking SAMe as well as St. John worts. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, hello. Benefits of I've tried everything. There's no question there. The benefits of tribulus and ashwagandha. They're very different nootropics. They are both herbal. They're naturally occurring. So tribulus, the majority of times is used for libido, boosting testosterone specifically, building muscle, better libido. Whereas ashwagandha, it's used for that to a lesser extent, but more so for general stress, anxiety, worry, helps to make you calm. Really one of the more effective substances that out there, and probably one of the more popular nootropics due to the fact that it's effective while at the same time relatively safe, unless you have like underlying thyroid condition. Then the ashwagandha is known to somewhat elevate your thyroid levels. So you'll know if that's kind of happening with you, if your heart rate is elevated and if it's interrupting with your sleep a little bit. So those are some of the, I would say, major benefits of tribulus and ashwagandha. But ashwagandha, there's a lot to it as far as why you would want to take it. Some people do report better cognition. There are some studies suggesting that as well. Has been my experience that it really helps with like memory, but maybe creativity, since you're a lot calmer and you can feel it. Just shallow breathing, for example, is less likely to occur. And don't mind, guys, giving this thing a like, and hopefully we can get some people up in the air. I'm gonna take a break from modafinil as well. Why not? What do you think? What do you think about creatine and hair loss? Do you think it causes it? Hasn't been my experience. Although with hair loss, it's just so variable from person to person. Different things are gonna affect you. Different things aren't. Like one of the more popular medication for hair loss is called finasteride, and for most people it works, and some people it doesn't. But there are just terrible side effects that come along with it. Hey Mike, have you tried Sustanch? I may have. I don't think so. Hey Michael, does daily use of tribulus / yohimbine lead to higher estrogen levels long term? I don't think so with tribulus. Likely it can happen with yohimbine. Just yohimbine, a stimulant that strong, is gonna not mess you up hormonally, but it's gonna you'll notice some strange imbalances happening. Specifically with yohimbine, what happens is you retain a lot of water. This is a known phenomenon with yohimbine. People do use it for fat loss, and then it's known to have a nice buildup effect. So you take yohimbine day after day, and actually works better in the sense that you're losing more fat because it's in your system, but it's masked by water weight. And then is when you get off of the yohimbine, wait a few days, and that water weight just all kind of gets out of your system, and you look nice and shredded. So I am a believer that yohimbine is pretty strong stuff. I didn't know that when I first started taking it. It does have its use, but not for everyone. I tried coliracetam, phosphorastam, oxiracetam, phenylpiracetam, Nupept. I've been fiddling around with nootropics for a little while, and I literally didn't feel any pronounced effects. Though of those few which you mentioned, the coliracetam, phosphorastam, oxiracetam, phenylpiracetam, and Nupept, the biggest surprise with that is phenylpiracetam, because it's relatively strong. However, most people seem to notice it working when they put it under their tongue, myself included. For whatever reason, the pill doesn't work anywhere as well with me. I can take half the dose, put it under my tongue, and seems to work more effectively, even like 75 milligrams. So if you don't feel anything from it, I wouldn't say to take more. I would say maybe try different things. And in terms of judging which nootropics to try, go in the direction of what's worked for you. So if you say that you've been fiddling around with nootropics what's worked for you in the past, what hasn't worked, and then you can accurately decide investing your money on. What am I doing wrong? I don't think you're doing anything wrong. Is just taking too many stimulants that they will overpower the that you'd be taking. Hey, what would be a good nootropic stack for encouraging neuron growth and long-term cognitive processing enhancement? Lion's Mane's popular. Nupep's pretty popular. Some people take CMAX still, and then Piracetam is decent. We all know that Lion's Mane and Nupep can boost level of NGM. Can I combine them together? Yeah, I don't think anything's wrong with that. Boosting your nerve growth factor is also one way of saying neurogenesis, build new neurons. Excuse me. We all know that Lion's Mane, keto plus Lion's Mane. Yeah, that can work out well. Speaking of keto and just speaking of calorie restriction, it's not a bad idea every here and there just to shake things up a little bit. If your body's so accustomed to being in a caloric surplus, then I would recommend put it under some physiological stress. And what better form of stress is there than being on a calorie reduced diet or intermittent fasting? It's such a shock to the body. It'll make you more resilient as a result. And some nice things happen when you get that keto clear mindedness. You train your body to use ketones for fuel versus glucose. And who knows, maybe there's something to be said about just going on keto for a few months, maybe despite you introducing carbs afterwards, getting out of keto, maybe it just trains your body to better utilize fat for fuel. And then, you're able to burn glucose, to burn ketones, and you're running on all cylinders. So I am a real believer in calorie restriction. I think every time I seem to do it, I get that same Lion's Mane effect. You just feel sharper. You're able to see things differently. And would highly recommend. I think a good way of going about it is maybe for all of you who are trying to build muscle, then it's ideal. You can go 6-week bulk, 2-week cut, and then repeat, or maybe a few months bulk, 1 month cut. And then not only physically are you going to look better, but mentally you'll be really sharp that way. It's more you can say easy to stick to versus doing something like carb cycling, which is the traditional way of kind of adjusting your carb intake based on your workouts. Some people will double up their carbs on leg day, for example, and not take any carbs on days they're not working out. Hey, Mike, do you plan on trying Subroxy? Supposedly it's a lot like Modafinil, although I'm guessing it's weaker. No, not anytime in the near future. I'd rather wait for that it's somewhat safe before I step foot and I try it. I don't want to be an experiment. Versus Yohimbine. Binance, I don't know enough about the first one, but I hear it talked about in terms of an alternative for Yohimbine, but Yohimbine's been pretty good for me, so I would say that one. Damn, that sucks. What nootropic is good for curbing appetite? So most of the stimulants out there, caffeine is really good. Ephedrine's really good. Green tea extract. If you get the pills, they usually have a little trace amount of caffeine, but the manufacturers usually won't even tell you how much caffeine is contained in them, which is annoying. And just sipping on decaf green tea, that's what I do, because I like most people get hungry for wanting the bad things at night. So after dinner, I'll typically have a couple decaf green teas, and that'll curb your appetite real well. So that's just a warm beverage, right? Heat up some water. Hey, Mike, what do you think about calcium supplements to your daily recommended intake? I think calcium is one of the more underrated supplements out there. There are some blends of calcium plus vitamin D, but there's nothing but good which comes from them. The stuff is really inexpensive. Over here, it's $12. You can get a 2-month supply of calcium. Also does keep you lean. Definitely helps with fat loss. Yeah, definitely someone that recommends calcium, because outside of dairy, it's a little bit tricky to get from your diet. I was reading a book. I actually gifted my mom a book for Christmas called, I think it's Bone Health Manual. And they did a breakdown of some of the foods which were rich in calcium, and most people are not eating those foods. Yeah, I've been fasting lately, and it's helped me for work for longer hours. Yeah, that's super cool. I really like that. If you guys have ever seen on Google, you can find them kind of like the breakdown of your cognition when you're fasting, and there's a window between, I think it's 12 to 18 hours of when you're fasted and you're super productive, followed by a little bit of a crash, and then you get energetic again. And just know that when you're practicing intermittent fasting, it's easier after you do it for a while. But is after the hunger, then you'll feel a little bit lightheaded, and then you'll get really productive, and then you just kind of forget about food. It's neat. I mean, any nootropics we should be aware of not going over the daily recommended intake. Racetams are pretty safe actually, from my experience. Like Proastam and Racetam. What else? Lion's Mane is pretty good. Nupep, be mindful of that. I've taken too much of that in the past, and then you actually do notice your kind of baseline cognition and your sharpness goes away when you get off of it. Something similar did happen with alpha GPC, but I'm not too sure if that was tolerance built related. Any nootropics, fish oil, I wouldn't go too crazy with it. When I did that in the past, like an experiment of ultra high dose fish oil, I had a lot of nosebleeds. It was really bad. And what else? Marios, you're welcome to ask about other ones, other nootropics specifically, because man, there's hundreds of them. Advice on how to deal with people who think I'm an addict for trying out nootropics. Identify a nootropic that they're taking. You're like, you drink coffee. Like, what does that do for you? How come you take it? Oh, it makes me alert. It makes me sharp. Is that not a nootropic? Yeah, I'm basically just doing the same thing. And avoid those people, man. I think that's the better answer. I'm 21. I drink a lot of milk. I am attempting to grow taller. Okay. Well, good luck, Jacob. I'm not sure if milk would help, but it's nice to think that there's something you can do. How similar is modafinil with the racetams? Kind of like depends how sensitive you are to the racetams. With some of them, you do feel focused. You feel like it's very easy to eliminate distractions and kind of be in the zone. So you find that with modafinil, it's more effective. It lasts for a longer amount of time. You only need to take it once a day. Whereas the racetams, you need to take the majority of them for at least a couple of weeks in order to feel them working. And as well, speaking of appetite suppression, then modafinil does make it very easy to forget about food. I've been finding that rhodiola is making me feel anxious, probably at the later portion, or probably when you're fasting. Rhodiola does work. It works kind of similar to tyrosine that way. You feel like it does boost your energy level, but you kind of feel slightly anxious. What would you say is the close nootropic to rhodiola? I'm looking for something that I can take to energize me in the afternoon. So Bacopa, I noticed it will calm me down in a similar kind of way, but rhodiola rosea gives me more energy, whereas Bacopa doesn't. So when you ask it like that, it's kind of like a mix of Bacopa and L-tyrosine. So because L-tyrosine is responsible for giving you more energy for sure. Thanks, Founds Fox. Actually, phenylprostam is somewhat similar to... Oh, okay, that's fair. Let's get the likes up. Yeah, guys, let's get the likes up. Is armodafinil really more effective than modafinil? No, I don't know. Don't know why women would say that, because with armodafinil, I was exposed to armodafinil prior to being exposed to modafinil. With armodafinil, what's neat is that you are still able to take naps. It's not that effective at improving your mood, whereas modafinil, every activity is going to put you in a good mood, surprisingly. And with armodafinil, it doesn't suppress your appetite as much. There's the way in which, the one way in which armodafinil is better than modafinil is like armodafinil, very similar to choline. It will make you better in everything, just slightly. Whereas modafinil, it will make you a lot better at specific tasks, whereas it'll hurt your performance in some tasks. So with modafinil, what's common, as many people know, it's ideal for independent work. But when it comes to social context, with modafinil, it's very difficult to have good conversations, sales conversations, just building rapport. Whereas with our modafinil, you're able to do that, and you're also able to do like those kind of independent tasks, more analytical based tasks. And I also, with our modafinil, noticed there's no build up. So that's the only benefit with armodafinil. Again, you're kind of better in everything, but it's not as effective. And with modafinil, a lot of people really like it because it is so like mood promoting, and it also does a better job at eliminating any sleep, kind of like lack of sleep or sleep debt. Have you ever checked out lithium ortate? No, not personally. I've tried one form of lithium. It wasn't that, but it's supposed to be a really good nootropic for like kind of mood regulation, mood stabilization. Have you seen the Subroxy powder on Nootropics Depot? Seems like a lot of people are talking about it, and I've never heard of it. Yeah, well, it seems like that as of this live stream, because prior to that, it wasn't talked about much. I take Synapsin KSM66 in the morning and Vacanize and Sensoril at night. Does that matter? Does that matter in what capacity? Like in terms of your prior question, or if you're just asking in terms of is that problematic? No, I don't. I think that's fine. Bacopa is not usually something which is taken at night though. It's usually used middle of the day to kind of eliminate stress. Also does help with memory. Yeah, I'm not really heard about many people taking it prior to night. Whereas KSM 66, you may be better off taking that prior to night. It really just depends what you're using it for. But that is a really good snack, for example, for improving your mood. Like Bacopa, mixing Bacopa and ashwagandha is one of the more effective things at being calmer, being more relaxed, and just experiencing more kind of like joy during the day. So I like those two. I actually prefer taking ashwagandha twice per day versus just once. And I don't know why you would. Oh, I'm sorry, I mixed up. So you said Bacchognize and Sensoril at night. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. So their question was they're basically taking one form of Bacopa and one form of ashwagandha in the morning, and then at night they're taking another form of Bacopa and another form of ashwagandha, and they've strategically designed it so they're taking the more relaxing forms of Bacopa and relaxing forms of ashwagandha prior to bed. So no, I don't think that matters at all. I wouldn't take that personally. I don't like Bacopa before bed. It seems to like kind of make me more, I wouldn't say energize me, but it does make me more alert and more receptive to what's going on, and I would rather just kind of tune down. Mike, do you think we'll ever get Paracetam back? Yeah, I do. I mean, there's so many, I mean, it already happened at Nootropics Depot, and then they just sold out like that. So it'll happen again. Happy Monday. Do you think high doses of B12 daily is good, or is it better to just meet your daily requirements? If you're somebody who exercises, I think it's okay to have higher doses of B12. I've been experimenting with taking like an extra B12 intra workout. So intra workout right in the middle of my workout, if it's like a longer day where I want to do like more full body or like leg day and then some isolation, then typically I'll take some B12 and some tyrosine right in the middle of my workout, and I really, really enjoy it. So what's been missing in some pre-workouts where I've not liked them as much is that B12. The B12 is absolutely so critical. And guys, if you are not eating meat, if you're vegetarian, then I'd highly recommend that you do look into maybe considering a vitamin B supplement. Is phenylpiracetam euphoric? Yes, it is euphoric, but there have been times when it's gotten my heart rate so high that I was thinking to myself, like, I just want this stuff out of my system. It's absolutely awful. Are you allowed to talk about no, Joe, that's something you can definitely not. I'm just gonna remove that. Someone mentioned cordyceps. I don't know if there was a question there. Chicken maize. Cordyceps, one of the more popular mushroom nootropics. I got a good blend. It's called Thrive 6. It's from Fresh Caps, and they've got cordyceps. They've got, I think, about turkey tail, lion's mane, reishi as well. So that's a really good mushroom blend, and you do actually feel a little bit more energy, like kind of like a naturally good feeling energy when you take it. But otherwise, cordyceps kind of been not so effective for me. I would say overrated, but there's the occasional person who does notice it working. Most people don't, though. Did you see that Lift Mode has a Tonkat Alley extract that is 12%? Okay, that's very cool. I've been meaning to get some stuff from Lift Mode, so I'm glad that you mentioned that. And if there's anything else regarding Lift Mode, I think they're pretty good, pretty reliable, and I've only done a couple orders from them, but I like their stuff. You can call me Jack. Hey, Jack. Are you taking any multivitamins? What do you think about Performance Lab multivitamins? They're omega-3 prebiotics. Not seeing the omega-3 or the prebiotics, but as far as I am taking a multivitamin, I believe in taking a multivitamin. Unless you're on such a tight budget that you have to choose between nootropics and multivitamins, I think you're better off taking nootropics as long as you have a good solid diet which hits all your food groups and all that. But what to look for in a multivitamin? Vitamin D, a good list of most of the vitamins and minerals that you'd want. Generally with multivitamins, the more capsules, the better. So I'm currently taking a true like that. It's even got a little bit of ginkgo, a little bit of choline, and a little bit of glutamine and some other stuff. Good to see you. Thanks, Sydney. What country are you from? I'm born and raised here, Toronto, Canada. And how much L-tyrosine do you typically take? I take about 1 gram to 1.5 grams once in the morning prior to working out. And then, like I mentioned, for those days when I have longer workouts, then I'll take like about 500 milligrams right in the middle of my workout. The only other times when I would use L-tyrosine is, let's say I'm experiencing, like, I do find L-tyrosine pretty effective. Like for most people, about 3 hours after ingesting caffeine, their energy crashes, they experience brain fog, they don't want to do any work. Ideally, just take that time off. take a lunch break or something. But if you can't, then tyrosine is a good way to power through it. You will mentally just feel up. Do you have any plans to make your own supplements in the future? Yeah, that is a possibility. So what is the channel? The channel, it just got demonetized a couple days ago. So maybe I'll spend it all. And YouTube has told me I can reapply for monetization in a month. So maybe over the next month, I'll work on my website and all those back end things that I've been meaning to. I'm not saying I'll come out with a supplement, but that's one thought for the future if I did want to take the monetization from this channel seriously. But speaking of monetization, so what they said was I was promoting the use of harmful substances. Not sure how that happened. Maybe a bunch of people just flagged my videos. So hopefully when I reapply for monetization in a month, then I'll get the monetization back. I don't really need, like, the ads are not that helpful, but what I've learned from that YouTuber Graham Stephen is that having ads in your video makes them more likely to go viral. So I do use ads. I do have the occasional mid-roll ads. So is over the next month, I will be I'll still be uploading, but I'm going to keep the channel pretty safe. I won't probably upload much pertaining to nootropics or some of the stuff we talk about, more kind of health, maybe like fitness related, some of the more subtle ones. And then it will probably look like it's in good standing, and then I can reapply. Because the good news is with YouTube, they've already manually, like when you upload a video, they manually have to give it the green light. So they've manually already individually said like 99% of my videos were good. So just getting back, and then after a month's time, hopefully I get the monetization back. Then I'll get all my videos out, because I had some really good. I'm like way ahead of videos for once. I have videos on nootropics for anxiety. I have 3 underrated nootropics. I have a introduction to nootropics for beginners. I got a modafinil video. So all that will be up there. Maybe just to not keep you guys waiting. If you're on my Patreon, I'll put the videos up there anyway. And then more live streams, guys. So tune into these. I'll maybe do a next Sunday and a couple during the week. Sorry, they end up being late. As you guys know, this is not my full-time job. I sell houses, and it makes it such that it can be difficult to schedule things, admittedly. Started taking, but yeah, if you guys have any advice regarding that, about just reapplying to monetization, if any of you do have a YouTube channel that's been demonetized, it'd be cool to know your experience. But I like to think this channel is, we're not promoting the use of harmful substances, but anyway, I think this channel has done more good than bad. I've not seen like one comment where somebody says, Mike, I took your advice and took something and I feel like crap. So most people, if they do try something, they're doing the thorough research. They're hopefully talking to their GP or somebody, and then noticing either good results or nothing. And Bell Bro, there's your long answer to that question. Started taking lion's mane, seems to be going well for now. Good. That's pretty common with lion's mane. Which are the best nootropics for studying for longer hours? Pramorastam is really good. Tyrosine is good to just get you started, or you may want to take some tyrosine and rhodiola rosea right in the middle of your study session. I like taking rhodiola rosea, just in the middle of like any long duration task. I'd rather use it then in the middle versus in the beginning, because then it does give you that like nap in a pill effect where you're clear-minded and you're able to come at your work from a more resourceful state, and then you start to it becomes easier to put things in your long-term memory that way. Have you tried oleamide? Man, there's so many nootropics out there. I need to catch up. I'm going to take a list of all these and do my research so that next time you guys ask me about them, I can actually have answers. Do you think creatine can be used as a nootropic? Some people meat is likely to be effective, and with creatine more effective if you're sleep deprived. I've talked about that on the video nootropics to take when you're sleep deprived, so that's a pretty popular one. I'm currently taking a creatine blend called Green Magnitude. I really like it. As far as cycling and cycling off and on, would you group caffeine with the racetam family when you're cycling off, or would you alternate to when you're on a racetam, you're off of caffeine, vice versa? I would, Zano. So that's a great question. I hate to say it depends, but ideally you would want to take some time off caffeine, take your racetams, and then take some time where it's vice versa. But I would say if you're, let's say, taking a vacation for a week, or you don't need to be working, just get off everything, and that'll reset your receptors at the same time. Whereas the good news with racetams, it's very likely to work on different receptors than it will with caffeine. So by taking time off of them, not kind of in parallel, then you should be fine. I recommend Animal Pack for multivitamin, good amount of energy. I actually really like Animal Pack for as their multivitamin. That's a very intense, you can say, bodybuilding multivitamin, which has absolutely everything in it. But the problem with it, I actually remember I bought some for my dad. For me, it was easy, but it's 6 pills, but they are huge, like the biggest pills you've ever seen. So totally for the like bigger bodybuilder who's used to taking a lot of vitamins in the first place. Don't forget to try Polygala. Thank you for that. And speaking of the lift mode, maybe I'll check them out after this. I'm opening up a new tab on my browser to make note because your comments are not forgotten about. Is running or cycling better? Both are good. I think running is much better, but cycling is safer. No way, dude. That's whack. Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's okay. I try to see the advantages of these things. Like last year when my channel got hacked, like I sold a lot of houses. So maybe it was for a good thing. And then if you guys remember in June, like all my videos came down. That was a nice chance for me to just reflect on what to do with the channel. And then we were on a live stream. I remember it was a Tuesday and somebody put in the live stream, guys, his videos are back. And that was super cool. So, and YouTube, by the way, they did not apologize to me for that. If you guys remember in June, like all my videos were down and I thought it was something to do with like Nootropics Depot and it was them. They flagged me, but it was I'm pretty sure it was YouTube's fault. And they didn't even apologize. It just happened. So it's cool. YouTube has a business full of robots and they're scanning videos. It's pretty futuristic. If you make your own supplement, then please make it more advanced than Qualia in the future. Ooh, I really like Qualia. I think they're a good supplement. I'm surprised people can say more advanced. Most people notice Qualia, some people don't. But then again, some people don't notice taking like 3 times the amount of phenylparastime than other. Big tech is going nuts. I got banned from FB Marketplace for no reason, and I haven't done anything. Wow. Yeah. Speaking of Facebook ads, I know that's pretty common. People are just being banned and they can't post ads anymore. Smart man. Thanks. Appreciate that, Marshall. Thank you. Very appreciative of the work you do on this channel. Thanks very much. Tribulus and Yohimbine stacked give me too much libido. Is there something I could take to lower it slightly while keeping the motivation / willpower aspect of them? Wow, never had that question. So they're basically saying that supplements are boosting their libido too much. What can they take to reduce their libido? Nothing has been effective for me at reducing libido specifically, but what's commonly talked about is Bacopa and lion's mane, more so in a negative way. People don't want a reduced libido. Live streams are fun. I agree. Live streams are fun. Have you used inositol for sleep? If so, does it work? I've not used it for sleep. I used it a lot when I was taking phosphatidylserine, and I like that a lot. Where is Owen Wu? Call him. I don't know where he is. Or find him on Facebook. I've learned a lot from your videos. You don't promote anything bad. Oh my gosh, that's good. We need a screenshot of that. We'll send it to YouTube. I wish there was like a petition we could send them, but I don't think there is. I hate caffeine and can't take Mode every day. Any mild stims I should be aware of to get through the day? Any mild stims I should? Theocrine. You can say that L-tyrosine does have stimulant-like effects. Yerba mate, and then green tea. I really like caffeinated green tea for productivity. There's a one called organic. What's it called? Japanese sencha. I'm like super productive with it. I don't feel the crash, and I'm drinking that stuff like 3-4 times a week. When I remember, just the only thing with it is you put the tea into the filter, and sometimes I'm not lazy, but just I forget. I hate caffeine and can't take. We need those videos now, bro. Still in lockdown here in the UK. Yeah, we're in lockdown too. Actually, like I'm in Toronto. Toronto proper, but it's interesting because the Toronto area, so the suburbs there, our lockdown has lifted, whereas in Toronto, it's still locked down. And I think like rightfully so. There are so many people coming in and out of this country. It is a hub. There's like the kind of place where you talk to someone and you never know what language they're speaking. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one here without an accent, honestly. What makes you so passionate about nootropics? Thanks. It started very similar to most people in how they were looking for a limitless pill, and then I noticed with the help of nootropics, my discipline was higher, my focus was better, and as a result, especially being in a commission-based job selling houses, that it does make a big difference with time. And through measuring my numbers and being very objective about things, first-time noticed nootropics make a really positive difference while not having any like bad side effects. I don't feel any worse. I don't feel like nootropics have really hurt me in any way. So what made me I mean, I think it's like the excitement that a lot of people have, the same people who are streams, watching all my videos, commenting, engaging with you. And then somebody told me one day, just, what you know about nootropics, it's very hard to read about nootropics on the web. There's conflicting data. Sometimes there's not enough information. So make this, make this channel, make this community. And it's been a good place. I've learned a lot from all of you as well. I wouldn't have been an awesome day if I didn't had bump into your channel. Oh, I wouldn't be as awesome today if I hadn't bumped into your channel. That's cool. And I wouldn't have been as awesome today if I hadn't always had your positive support. The big crowds will come. The goal is to continuously deliver good content. Trust me. Jesus loves you as well, by the way. Thank you, Jesus, for your love. Does Tribulus raise DHT? Maybe slightly. I think it's kind of over-exaggerated. Sometimes people would just make articles and YouTube content for the sake of creating hype, like it raises DHT, but I'm not pertaining to that. What do you think is the most underrated product from Nootropics Depot? Tomcat Alley specifically, because they're like Tomcat Alley, their long jack is just so much better than everywhere else. It's like a game changer. Excuse me. Getting off of Tomcat, like my lifts did drop. So for anybody who works out, I think it's more important, but I'm not necessarily a believer that it is a nootropic. And I'm just going to move this mic because it's making me hunchback, and I'm trying to consciously improve my posture. So let me know, guys, if you ever see me slouch. Is taking modafinil every day bad? I've taken anywhere between 100 milligrams to 150 milligrams each morning for the past 3 months or so. I ask myself that same question very often. Is taking modafinil this often healthy, or is it hurting me? I think that's bad. I mean, you've taken it between each morning for the past 3 months or so. Yes, because you start realizing kind of who you are when you're in this execution kind of focus state. It's very easy to like neglect not only things outside of work, but some of the maybe lesser important tasks that don't need to be kind of eliminated entirely. So I would say definitely find a way to at least get off the 1 time a week. That's what I'm doing with bupropion, which I'm taking, also known as Wellbutrin. I don't usually take it Saturdays. Before I was off Saturdays and Sundays, but then just due to being in a cutting diet, which I was trying to cut some weight, I was still taking it every day because it does help to suppress my appetite. So I would really, really recommend at least take some time off. And because you'll truly know the answer to that question when you experience it yourself, and you have those days without modafinil, and you're like, okay, wow, these are the positives. Now, what can I do in my schedule to make it such that the modafinil is helping me when I want it to, but I also do feel better at some styles of work on days off modafinil, so I should have those days as well. God bless all of you who accept Jesus as your savior. Have you tried 9-MeBC? I haven't, Steve. You could tell me a little bit more about it. Remember, it's great talking supplements. It's great doing the things to do which improves your body and promotes self-care, though it's useless if you don't supple the need of the soul. Is this the same person who's praising Jesus? Oh yeah, you are. Sydney's taking some very interesting nootropics. Yeah, I remember that too. Thanks for being up late for us again. Does each racetam work on different receptors, and therefore we can cycle racetams as opposed to cycling off all? See, racetams specifically are too complex for us to really know how they work with the receptors, because it's not that simple. So I would say it's good taking them all off. If you're trying to reset your tolerance, you're probably better off taking them, taking time off of all of them at the same time. Excuse me. Phenylprostam being a little bit different. That one just don't take too often. I would even say don't take it 2 days in a row if you can. I like the way of seeing things. I'm like that as well. Why are you always shouting with your capitals? Bye, Sydney. God bless you. What are the dangers of taking 1.5 grams of phenibut every day? I don't know, because I've not experienced it, but from what people say, they feel very anxious, very uneasy once they're taking time off of phenibut. It's one of the most talked about nootropics as far as side effects and withdrawals specifically, so be mindful of that. Dude, my test stack has been raising my libido through the roof. It feels good, but it's too distracting. Bingo. And this was one
you could say benefit that I've had in the past of being somewhat low testosterone is it was very easy just to simply focus on work, to the point that I was thinking like, wow, this, I'm surprised nobody's talking about this, and they're always talking about raising their testosterone, because having high levels of testosterone, it is distraction, it is distracting, and sometimes it does actually offset your judgment. Thoughts on magnesium glycinate? It's good. Don't know if it's one of the if it's one of the nootropics or supplements you'll actually feel doing anything, but you may want to check out magnesium L-threonate. That does cross the blood-brain barrier. Will actually help you with focus. So Nootropics Depot does have that supplement. It's in a green bottle, and there's pretty good reports on it, both effective and somewhat safe. Thoughts on beta ketones? Oh, ketone salts. Steven, I've done some research, but not enough on them to contribute with that. Do you mix anirastatin with Tonkat Ali? No, I do not. I take my Tonkat Ali like once, just right before dinner, along with glucosamine, fish oil, vitamin D, and a multivitamin. Whereas anirastatin, I'm typically taking throughout the course of the day. I'll take it twice. When I'm taking it twice, I'm taking it once in the morning and once in the early afternoon, along with some of the adaptogens for that verbal fluency, for that anti-anxiety feeling. What's your favorite everyday nootropic? Favorite everyday nootropic. Love choline. Love taking tyrosine. Prior to working out, and I really like taking lion's mane. Those three, and I do like taking ashwagandha every day. Or now, currently, the phase which I'm the past, I think, 3 months I've been taking ashwagandha, and I can see myself going on it for a couple more months, and then maybe I'll take like a few months off ashwagandha just to feel like a more intense version of myself. Even sending packages to bonkers. I set up a fragrance over there and wound up paying 80 for shipping. Where are you referring to? Are you referring to the UK? I noticed with Phenibut, when I take it, I enjoy it, but lately I would get a slight chest pain. Has this happened to you when you took Phenibut? Yes. I was thinking once with Phenibut that it would lower my heart rate, because with modafinil, unfortunately, it does kind of elevate your heart rate. So my stupid self was thinking, okay, Phenibut, good for anti-anxiety. Maybe this actually does reduce your heart rate. But no, it backfired, because Phenibut raises your heart rate even more. So I got double the heart rate, and I was tracking it on my Fitbit. I don't know how accurate this is, but for heart rate, it seems pretty accurate. So don't make that mistake I made. Do your research first. So the chest pain, that's probably what it was. Lower the dose and try the FAA over the HCl. Even your voice changed when you fixed your posture. Got stronger. Ooh, man. More motivation. Accountability. If you could only bring one nootropic, which one would you choose, please? Thanks for everything you do. I want to let you know, every time I get this question asked, I'm going to try answering with a different nootropic. So don't take my answer too seriously, but I'll say Noopept. Fallon's Fox, what's your test stack? Fallon's Fox, you got to make your own live stream. I think they're here for you. Is magnesium L3 effective? Some people said they couldn't adapt to it and had to discontinue using. Others said it helped them with their studies. Yeah, hasn't been too effective for me, but I'm more so into like what's working for the majority of people, because it's always going to be that way, that some nootropics don't work for some people, and I'm kind of accepting of that. So magnesium threonate hasn't done much for me, but the majority of I would say the most commonly reported benefit is improved focus, better concentration, maybe a slight better mood otherwise. Hey, been a biohacker for 15 years. Glad to see you on YouTube, man. Cool, Parker. Then you can share some of your wisdom with us, either here or in the comments. I really like when people do watch my videos and afterwards comment kind of with their contribution of like what that nootropic has helped them with, if it has or if it hasn't, because that's like it's like a testimonial that's like fully transparent. It's honest. It's not leading to trying to sell anything. So sorry, just lost you guys. But a biohack, I find it very professional how you keep it very unbiased. However, your audience acquainted to your point of view. It's the power you have on this platform. Good luck. Thank you very much. Phenibut can be very addictive. Yeah, that's true. Did you say ashwagandha affects your sleep? It means you have thyroid issues. Danger Man, I didn't say that specifically, but you're really smart for putting 2 and 2 together. It's that could in fact be such, that because ashwagandha does raise your thyroid levels. If you do take ashwagandha before bed and you feel like an uncomfortable heart elevation, then it could be such that your thyroid could be higher than you want it to be. Thanks for answering my recent question about caffeine and Tonkat Ali. I was curious Isn't it counterproductive to take Tonkat at night? You would think so. I mean, I don't take it right before sleeping, probably like 4 or 5 hours before going to bed. So that's okay. I don't eat dinner like right before I sleep. And Thunder Drake, yeah, I remember your question and I remember seeing you on the channel. You've been here for a while. So thanks for your support. All right, Fallon's Fox has mentioned his test stack, Shilajit, Tonkat, and that's 5 days on. So 5 days it's Shilajit and Tonkat, and then the other 2 days, 2 days off, 20 milligrams zinc, vitamin D 5,000, 5 milligram boron, and 4 garlic cloves a few hours before bed daily. Tonkat, you could have, Fallon's Fox, you could have been clear. I'm not really sure if you were meant that the other 2 days or anyway. How does Tonkat Ali compare to Tribulus? Can I use only one and get the same benefits? I noticed better sleep quality with Tonkat, with Tribulus. Better, definitely deeper sleep. You're able to wake up feeling more enthusiastic about the day, like that feeling of like restful sleep. Whereas Tonkat Ali more so seems to help with like fitness and libido. Can I only use one and get the same benefits? So for that reason, I'm going to say no, because I do think Tonkat Ali is probably better when it comes to building muscle. Do you feel that cycling is imperative? And do you do anything special to avoid feeling off when you do cycle? No, I try to cycle off things when there's not downtime, but times when it's like less intense, maybe less. I mean, these days, what intense looks like is more Zoom calls, maybe like more important presentations. Maybe I'm doing like group training for agents that I'm trying to help sell more homes. So whenever it's kind of like a downtime, like you wouldn't work super hard on Christmas. Most businesses are pretty seasonal that way. So use that time to get off. And then I'm finding lately I actually do like taking a little bit more choline when I'm off a specific nootropic, which has helped me with like giving me a cognitive boost. So let's say if I stop taking some of the things which have helped me with cognition, like lion's mane or piracetam, just adding a little bit more choline does seem to help me. And I like alpha GPC most. Alpha GPC, the 50%, you can get the 99% or 100% alpha GPC as well, but it's like really sticky. Just ensure you don't get any water in there. And guys, don't mind giving this thing a like, and hopefully we can share the knowledge. C-Lank is pretty good for performance anxiety and heart rate. I guess the only thing I use for stage performance. Very nice. And it's also one of the better things for neurogenesis. Mike, how many hours do you sleep you usually get? 7. I've been like a 7 guy. I've tried doing 8, but I think for a couple of years. But those years were just less productive, and something happened. I mean, less productive in terms of the results, made less money, and I also noticed when you sleep, plus you seem to just want to sleep more. Strangely enough, so yeah, 7's good. And then if I'm sleeping any less, then I'll make sure that I get a good nap in the day. I usually do have a nap, like a good 15-minute nap or a meditation. What are some good nootropics for working with data entry and numbers? So the Pramaracetam is really good. It does shut off your emotions, makes you very objective. Like, you may also notice that beneficial as well. And then take some rhodiola rosea, especially if you're like in front of a screen for a long time. Take breaks because you need to be standing every here and there. What do you think about too much choline causing people depression? I've read people react badly to acetyl L-carnitine, and for others, it's amazing on Reddit. So there's 2 questions there. My first about choline causing people depression. Just just be mindful of it. That's good that there's experiences with that. Hasn't been my experience. I did notice when I first started taking alpha GPC, which is one of the more stronger forms of choline, when I took too much of it, I did experience a bit of brain fog, but I wouldn't say depression. So is be mindful of that. You may want to try out weeks where you're taking a little bit more choline, try weeks where you're taking less choline, and then do adjust it in accordance to the racetam intake, because it's the known phenomenon that when you take more of the racetams, then you should supplement it with choline. And I really do believe in the racetams. I think the racetams are like the best things you can take for productivity. Most of the other nootropics are going to help you just be kind of less stressed out, being more calm, whereas the racetams will help your work ethic get up. They will make you sharper. And if you have an objective way of measuring it, trust that it'll improve your grades, make you more money, whatever you want it to do. What do you think about, and I would include Noopept in that category. What do you think about, and then your other question about acetyl L-carnitine, I personally don't respond to it that well. I feel like it's very similar to taking taurine. So if you're fasting and you take taurine, it's an amino acid. It does have trace calories. You will feel like a slight little bit of alertness. And that can be said about acetyl L-carnitine, but I don't think it does anything magical when it comes to what it's supposed to be doing, like transporting fat to the mitochondria to be used as fuel. Top 3 strongest nootropics. Give me like a list, because this is, or give me some choices, please. Do you think one of the 120 milligrams of Shodan ashwagandha per day from ND would be too much for a first-time ashwagandha user? No. I mean, if you don't feel right, it's just ashwagandha. You shouldn't really feel that bad that it'll affect you for a few days. But 120 milligrams, I think they were smart by doing that, as I've looked at a lot of the studies on Shodan, and it's cool because Shodan is like a relatively new nootropic to the whole nootropic world. 120 milligrams seems to be like the study dose, 100 or 120, which is interesting because it's such a small dose compared to the other forms of ashwagandha that we're aware of. Phenylprastam is the strongest nootropic I've ever taken. Did you sell Kyle Lowry's house? Not Kyle Lowry's house. I did not, but I can look up someone's house and see the agent who sold them, which is pretty cool. Tonka Alley twice a day. Okay, cool. You just found, just clarify that test stack. Can you research anhedonia? It's a specific symptom that, yeah, I know about anhedonia. There's no question there. So which supplements may help with it? Lion's mane will probably help with it. If you've watched my lion's mane video, then I've mentioned that in the past, that with anhedonia, it kind of feels like the opposite, because with anhedonia, you have like a decreased interest in things, whereas with lion's mane, you feel like an increased interest in things. Watch all my lion's mane videos. I probably have like 10 of them, maybe even 15. But I've watched them back, and like there's different things there I say. So I have mentioned that, but sorry I didn't mention that maybe in the most recent ones. What's your test level? I don't know. I haven't had it checked in a few years, or maybe a couple years, because it's not, I mean, I don't feel concerned about it. From being low test in the past and being high test in the past, you kind of get to tell when you're where you want to be, as far as like medium and not too high and not too low. So I've not personally had a test. I can't say the number. I got pramrastam and oxyrastam, and I'm liking the pram a lot. Any recommendation on what I should try next? You may want to try anurastam, but anurastam, it may not be as good. It probably won't be better if you notice the pramrastam a lot compared to the oxyrastam. For me, oxyrastam is more noticeable immediately when I take it, probably more so than anurastam, pramrastam, and prastam. For some of the nootropics that boost testosterone, would you say that might not be a good nootropic choice for females? Depends. I mean, depends. With females, it's such that there's just a lot of more moving factors. If you're concerned about your hormonal health, like something's wrong with your hair, or you're getting more acne, then I don't think there's anything wrong with trying some things which could adjust it. And most of these nootropics that we talk about for boosting testosterone, they're not that strong. Like most people online, if you ask them, or if you look on community forums or Reddit, they will tell you that there are no naturally occurring nootropic supplements that will boost testosterone. These ones don't increase it that much, but more so are effective if you're like lower testosterone, or maybe like low to mid. Most of the heavy cholinergics make me feel depressed. Cholinergics, excuse me. Just a note of validation on your YouTube journey. Because of your good reviews, I've been taking a combo of lion's mane and alpha brain for about a week and some change, and life is improving. Very nice. So continue being great. Thanks. You're welcome. What's your experience mentally after taking creatine? Also, what are the best nootropics for brain injury treatment? Lion's mane worthy of that description. Yeah, second question with brain injury, pramrastam, prastam, even zinc does have really good research. Lion's mane being really good too. And I think all the mushroom nootropics are worth investigating for you, because a lot of them do have good reports as far as recovering from some sort of brain injury. Has your opinion changed of a newt after using it for a long time? I used to like Fenibut, but after a couple years, it makes me feel nasty. Of the ones that I've taken for a long time, have my opinion of them changed? Yeah, like with ashwagandha, for the first couple of years, I actually thought it was doing more bad than good, because it can be somewhat demotivating. But just over the past, I think I was initially exposed to or I started taking it consistently in 2015, and I would say I didn't really like it until 2018, and then I started seeing how it is like really effective. But that was one nootropic where I could take like 6 months off and be completely cool with it. Bacopa as well, I had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with, but because of what it does to your memory, you don't really need any other supplements that improve your memory when you're taking Bacopa. And then, of course, other things do help, like exercising, like eating well, like drinking a lot of water and sleeping right. But I like that question. Otherwise, I was kind of against caffeine for a while, in the sense that I thought that caffeine was definitely, like, I mean, I like taking it for the mood, but I did have that thought in the back of my head, like I should be off of caffeine, and this is not good stuff. But after doing the research on caffeine, its antioxidant properties, what it does for your mood, and general sharpness, I do think that caffeine's a good thing versus bad. Porsche Panamera exceed your expectation, meet or below? The Porsche Panamera did exceed my expectations, surprisingly. I did. It was not my idea to get the car. When I got into selling houses, I was coming out of a really bad depression at the time, and I was so focused on selling houses just because one good way of avoiding a bad mood is keep yourself busy. And I was out selling everyone in my office. I sold like 52 houses my first year, and look back, and I didn't really spend a lot of the money. It was just in the bank. And then my dad really liked the car, and he said, why don't you buy it? And at the time I was driving a BMW I was driving a Mercedes that was kind of breaking down, and I just ended up getting the Porsche. But I always thought that the Porsche Panamera looked like a weird hatchback. But no, since getting it, I really like it, and I haven't really found a car that I want, really, besides like a Lamborghini. But Tesla kind of appeals to me, the idea of automatic driving. And otherwise, I mean, despite driving a Porsche Panamera, I'm not that much of a car guy compared to some other car enthusiasts that know every luxury car out there. And then also, being in a industry where you sell houses, you can argue that it's an investment, because your image really does matter in this job. First impressions matter. Wearing a nice suit, looking groomed, and all that. I love your raw word. Who's your favorite word artist? I don't know what a word artist is, but this is something I just got on Amazon. I can send you the link if you comment on one of my videos. Just ask for it. I look at all the comments because I get this feed where it shows me all the comments, and I can give you the link. I'll try to find it for you. Fine Pramrastam works great with alpha GPC caffeine. Lion's mane for tedious work. The question to the person who asked what nootropics tasks that are longer tasks, tedious, boring work. Pramrastam, alpha GPC, caffeine, and lion's mane. Caffeine, not too sure about. I would say if your energy is really high, then try to either avoid caffeine because it does have the crash, or use caffeine like halfway through when you start to need it. Because if you take caffeine right in the beginning, 3 to 4 hours afterwards, you will feel very distracted and you'll want to take a break. What could be the reason Nooprep does not work for me? Should I increase my dosage? It's a pretty subtle nootropic. I didn't notice it working, but I just looked at the results, and I was like super focused and definitely getting a lot done on those days when I was taking Nooprep. So have some objective way to measure it. Like I mentioned, most salespeople burn out quick early from lack of success. How did you keep yourself going and get motivated to get where you are today? Which of course helped, but being in an environment people does help. Some of my colleagues who really helped me were very ambitious, very driven to make a lot of money, and that always helped me. And then most importantly, within a few months of being in the industry, I hired a coach, paid them $1,000 a month US. And when you're paying somebody $1,000 a month US here in Canada, that you will be accountable. Like when I've had a fitness coach in the past, I will follow my diet because I'm basically paying for accountability. So I was getting the accountability. I was getting the skills and the systems to be more efficient with my time and sell more homes and being driven that way. So people burn out because they don't really have the persistence to get the first deal in the first place. Because when you get your first deal and you experience a bit of success, then you want more success. It just bites you. You get bit, and then you just get exposed to how much money can be made in some sort of industry as being in sales. But I've always been somebody who liked presenting. I was one of the people like in school when public speaking came, I didn't really mind it compared to people who dreaded the fact. It's like a nice test. It's very stimulating. You seem to lose sense of time. And it's just a good challenge. Like sales, I think it's such a fun challenge to be able to like have a conversation with somebody and prior thinking, okay, I wonder if I can get this person on my good side, right? So I think sales is the greatest thing ever. Prolonged use of SSRIs cause neurons to get damaged. Is there any nootropics that can repair neurons? Srath, go back in the live stream about 5 minutes prior once this thing is done, because I did answer that question when somebody asked about kind of like a brain injury. Cool, man. Thanks for the thoughtful response. Panamera is my dream car. You can get a used one pretty inexpensively, like 30 grand, 35 grand. I'm going to bed. I'll check back. Okay, I'm not going to bed, but that gentleman's going to bed. Which RAS time gives you the most mood lift? mood lift, phenylprastam, and beyond. Besides that, I would say oxyrastam, just in the sense that it makes you so focused. How much more effective are nootropics when you take alpha GPC with versus without? To quantify that, maybe like 30% more effective, because alpha GPC it'll give you more energy and energy is important. You've been helping me become more productive. Your information has been useful. Good. Hermaline is a good substance. I can't answer that question, but remove. And I'm going to leave this thing on. But then again, yeah, guys, so the channel has been demonetized. So this is your chance to watch videos without ads, because my videos apparently have no ads right now. So feel free to refer back to them. Use the timestamps. Let me know if you have questions. Just pop them in the comments or Patreon or Instagram. I'm getting better at checking my messages. And look forward to seeing you guys all next time. Enjoyed connecting with all of you. Cheers.